The Khattak or Khattak is a Pashtun tribe numbering over 3 million, which speaks a variant of the softer Kandahara Pashto. The Khattaks are settled along the western bank of the Indus River from as north upwards as Lund Khor, Katlang, Sawalter, Shergar and near Malakand, Nowshera district, Kohat district, Mianwali district, Attock district and Karak district in Pakistan. Across the Durand line, a smaller number of Khattaks are scattered in Kandahar, Ghazni, Logar and Khost in Afghanistan. The historic capitals of the Khattaks were Tehri, a town at district Karak, and Akora Khattak, a town at district Nowshera. The warrior poet Kushal Khan Khattak (1613–1690) belonged to this tribe, and his contributions to Pashto literature are considered as classic texts. They have been translated into numerous languages. The Khattaks have high literacy rates in comparison to other Pashtun tribes having achieved positions of influence throughout history. Early records show migration of the Khattak from Ghazni, Gur and Logar of modern-day Afghanistan. Later on, the Khattak settled in the Shawal region of present-day Waziristan, Pakistan. Subsequently, they migrated further eastwards and settled in Banu district, where the Pashtun tribes of Mongol and Honai were already settled. In the 14th century, the Shaitaks, a tribe allied to the Khattaks which also previously held Shawal, migrated to Banu. The Shaitaks first defeated and drove away the Mongols and the Honai, and later gradually captured Banu and pushed the Khattaks northwards to the southern portions of Kohat, where the Khattaks settled in Bahadur Kel and Tehri. Then the Khattak allied with the Bangish, defeated the other Pashtun tribes, and occupied northeastern Kohat, Gumbat, Patiala and Zira Tippas. Eventually, the Khattak settled in Karak and Nowshera, and finally a small number migrated to Nizampur, Mardin and Malakand. One Khattak also migrated from Akora Khattak more than 100 years ago, and settled down in city of Mansehra in the current-day province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They are settled in the city of Mansehra, and in the villages of Lambi Dari, Kotkay, Jagir, and Labarkot. In addition, they are settled in some areas of Abbottabad. Kushal Khan Khattak, a warrior poet by the name of Kushal Khan Khattak (1613–1690), was once the chief of this tribe, and his contributions to Pashto literature are considered as classic texts. 2. His life and times are one of the most chronicled and discussed subjects in Pashtun history, as he was active on the political, social and intellectual fora of his times. He was a most voluminous writer, and composed no less than 360 literary works, both in the Pashto and Persian languages. 3. His poetry revolves around concepts of honor, justice, bravery and nationalism, and his works have been translated into numerous languages, English and Urdu being the primary ones. 4. Older references. According to Nimatullah's 1620 work History of the Afghans, the Khattaks are amongst the oldest of the Afghan tribes. 5. Their history has been closely knit with that of the Khattak, have given the place to Yusufzai tribe from their first settlement around the mountains of Gur and Ghazni 5 to present-day east-central and northeastern Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan. Sir Olaf Karo, The Pathans 550 BC 1957 AD, 9. Neither Khattaks nor Shaitaks appear by name until the period of publication of genealogies under the Mughals, and the time of Akbar's dealings with the Khattaks for the protection of the highway to Peshawar. Babur indeed in his memoirs mentions the Karanis Karlanis whom he encountered in 1505 around Banu along with the Niyazis and Isakal. It is probable that this reference of his is to Khattaks or Shaitaks, or both, for both are Karlani tribes, and the other Karlanis who live in that area, Wazirs and Bangish, Babur mentions by name when he comes to them. It is thus clear that Babur and other Mughals in their descriptions identify Khattaks and Shaitaks together without any differentiation. In Pashtun history, edit. Sir Olaf Karo, The Pathans 550 BC 1957 AD, 9. Taken together, the Khattaks and the Shaitaks, who now have a common boundary close to Banu, cover a stretch of territory as large as that held by any Afghan or Pathan tribe, whether Ghilzai, Yusufzai or Durrani. From the Khattak settlements around Lundwar, close to the Malakand Pass, to the Shiitic villages in Upper Dor in the Tochi, the distance is over 200 miles. The wide extent of their present territory, their large population, and the association of both groups of tribes at one time or another with the rich oases of Banu and the Tochi, suggest sufficiently their importance in this family of peoples. Theory of Israelite descent. Main article. Theory of Pashtun descent from Israelites. Khattak tribe has oral traditions and legendary history of descent from the Israelites. 17. Kushal Khan Khattak, chosen Malik. Clarification needed. In 1641, believed that Malik was a continuation of the Israelite title Malik given to the legendary progenitors King Saul and Malik Afghana. 18. Kushal expresses that the Khattak reputation for fierceness and valor stems from the fact that Khattaks and Afghans have been nursed by the lionesses King Saul's wife Milk. 1920. One of the first progenitors of the modern tribe is Manal. Manal is considered to be a modification of Manas from the word Manasseh. Citation needed in his book The Armies of India, A.C. Lovett declares the Khattaks to be a widely enlisted tribe, who also lay claim to the Pashtun Jewish descent. 21. Theory of descent from the Greeks. Edit. After the creation of Pakistan, some Pakistani scholars suggested a Greek descent for the Khattaks. However, from the histories of Herodotus, Book 3, 91. 7. It is clear that a tribe by the name of Satagide, or Satagudai, were already settled in the area around current-day Gur in Afghanistan and paid as tribute coinage and materials to the Greeks when they subjugated these areas. The Satagudai and the Gandharioi and the Dadakai and the Aparutai, who were all reckoned together, paid 170 talents. Later Belu, Karo and other historians both Pashtun and Western through their works identified the Satagudai with the famous Khattak and Shiitic tribes. The Pathans 55 OBC AD 1957, printed St. Martin's Press 1958 by Macmillan and Company Limited, 9. Though all Afghan DNA 22, including Khattak DNA, has minor contributions from haplogroups more common to the Greeks, 23, these are minor enough to rule out a direct lineage. Together with works from Herodotus and more recent historians, the theory of Khattak descent from the Greeks is unfounded. Afridi and Khattak history. Sir Olaf Caro, The Pathans 550 BC 1957 AD, 9. The Afridis and Khattaks lumped together as Karlanis can be held to reflect a knowledge that they represented a more aboriginal stock, which only later absorbed the characteristics of the invaders. In other words, it is not surprising that in looking for a prototype in the oldest recorded history bearing on this region we hit on the ancestor of the Pakhtun. Molding and amalgamation. Edit. Sir Olaf Caro, The Pathans 550 BC 1957 AD, 9. This is not to assert that the ethnic or linguistic stock can be traced through to tribes of similar names today. The case would be rather that these were substratum agglomerations of people who, through contact with later comers, modified their language and were assimilated to later cultures, but retained in the more inaccessible places sufficient of their older inspirations to boast their original names. The theory does at least give a starting point to Pathan history and the stock belief in the Bani Israel. Khattak tribes. Edit. Borik Khattak. Edit. Areas. Karak Chokara, Trakakoi, Sabir Abad, Delhi Mila, Nari Panos, Izak Chantra, Nari Panos, Takht Nasrati, Bahadur Kel and Banda Dad Shalatambar and Mandawa. Akori Khattak. Edit. Areas. Peshawar Nowshera. City centers. Peshawar, Akbarpura, Akora Khattak, Mansehra, Menki Sharif and Cherit, Ilika Quera, Nizampur and Attak. Yusufzai Khattak. Edit. Areas. Mardin, Sawabi, Malakand, Charsada. City centers. Lund Khor, Jamal Gari, Shergar, Katlang, Hadian, alternatively Hadan, Sakakat. 24. Sogri Bongi Kel Khattak. Edit. Bongi Kel are a sub-tribe of the Khattak. They are located in Mianwali in the province of Punjab. In short, Khattak are one of the most prominent tribe of Pathan.